Zangen Jandan Zangen Janan Lan Janjo Bandan Danen Jazan Jen Dagen Jazan Jeve Zana Dola Benje Zangen Doba Jo Zanje Jadan Zangen Janan La Janjo Bandan Dagi Jezan Jeve Zanan Jendola Benje Zanjen Juba Shu Zanje Jodan Soje Jon Janjo Bada Danen Jezan Jen Dagi Jezan Jeve Zanan Jendola Be Sanjen Juba Shu Zimjen Damjen Devan Dan Deven Judan Dembaj Dunga da dunga jen jen dan da wan je jen dunga me ben de wan da man da min da wan je jen ye den jen da nyen dan de do nyen jen ba la ne bran ju ra je zim jen dam jen de wan dan de wen ju dan de ba dunga da dunga jen je dan da wan je jen dunga me ben de wan dam ba da min da wan je jen ye den jen da nyen dan Donyon Jimbo La Nebran Juan Je Zim Jen Dam Jen Dewan Dan Dewen Judan Dimbra Jeje Dunga Dan Dunga Je Judan Dawan Dunga Meben Dewan Damban Dan Minda Wan Jejen Yeren Judan Yendan De Donyon Jimbo La Nebran Juan Je Dam Jen De Yan Sa Yen Da Zima La Sa Meban Dan La Den Dan Ranjin Jamban Ye Jun Je Ma Le Zim Jen Gwen Je Gwen Je Jen De De Ben Je Me Zen Jum Je Wana Ma Le Je Yen Je Je Be Jum Den Go Jen Nen De Je Zoi Zoi Jum Den De Ne Jum Ba Le Da Ja Zon An Gam Da ge je ye je len den den ye den ne ju zo zo do zong gan da nyam ba ye be man da ye ge za je di je jam be bol ji de wa ne ju zo zo je dra dam ba zam je ne la ma gen je zhe zan da la ye je ne dam Di jen da gen ge zhe zo san zhe yang ba la ye ge mi je do je ge nie la mi jen de ben dang bo da jen do je ge de zhe de le ye yan zhe be ze ro mo yan ye ye wo 심지엔 동아 지진변 지나서서 내교인지 지녀서던 조준지대 논도서 예범이 다게 몰라데다 남제라 루당아yen 당베 저제와 당베 제베 몰란다다게 여와 담제 무슨다 영겐드니라란다 바yen 여와 걸라라데 저달론 데젠 노선제 세제와나 주반단 데다 제제 예나 몰렘바 남제 여와다게 고 대당 아바 메zen janzala 연제 열란 janz은 자근제 여와 근제 연대 rabz네 대와 셔바 남제다게 메도 담바 저완 담바 나zenye 난다 제벤데 jan다 마메 존다 함도바 담바 연 저완 대달라네 좀 나산 담바 남다 제존다 제마 바마라라 녀반다 오바 Yawan de dalane choba je choba kana lamin je wan de dan jawan damje laya mo zambe jala de be da ge yawan kala jaza de je dan de mo wangen ne da ngadan de ye je jan de ban de ge je ba je ba de dan nam je da ge za 조지 여와 군다 산제세 란자 난다 라다 밀란다 도와 근제 zonanga 데다 근제 제선다 예라 가나 저젠지든 좀만다 정저정바 산제 모데 공부한데다 다게 담제라 골라라나 메베 고와가 냥렌den다 가yen데다 란도와 Galba Jingen Denya Jobaya Dage Damaran Jazawanda Jondawanda Jeje Jabanda Jeza Yarangayazo Yawa Janzanda Jezabandam Jezobe Janjingo Benza Zado Zamaya Moneba Benzara Zado de Nabandi Dan Mem Bawazada Jaya Mem Wazabagaya Mem Anurada Mem Bawazawazida Mendaya Sawagamazida Sidame Jiraya Gorawa Bangawe Zawananda Benzaman Bawa ma samaya sando bian be me awa ye nambanda be wanje seje sai bian rege awa je jare ye korye ke rabe yongso gebe wazare Onja lo bamba lo zamba le no bala joy jon damenye lo da lo ba ngaya da ngaya ye yo den da lam damenye jen da rumbu je ye rewa bazan je do jamye ma mama ba ye lo Kola rumbaje, nava rumbaje, zama rumbaje, lumba rumbaje, lamba rumbaje, daja rumbaje, maba rumbaje, de chembaye bumba, giva ma, diva kama, medama, didama, dinama, dija, Ye manda wa rumba jenda jole namba nyebe nyanze waza lada miye banja baza maza wa me baram jim jaze dunje janlen deba ngomba koba dinye rikda jingre jaze kyabda gulen gambe bala nyebe kama bandilen dayen doje choyen dazan rawa yenge tunde kuze shabe geja jaze soye sabje jeje de dembe lene jeje kolen gebe leden bwanje wan dojen deben doje Yene jinje lando zo saje bunje chonje mendo na dera leje nyende jemba sanje jende mede mbuwa yen droga namda yela joba jo joje deza yeba sanje janjo zamba da lama da jela benda yeda lada deza ndeje malala leje dera Lije jiwa dan dan jiwa bunda dan dan menda jida dan mola gamba nol tu je de ge je za yene jin je la de za o men da la bun za men ga zaman da za ba sama ye a de no za ye bon de Siba mindra jiva mina ye nanga nyembe donan jawa jo da gengi vele na deda genji dende nyoda zai jola benje jona da jenje simje dongara mangbo zilen jo jaza wada jeje java da jezu Inge wa junzen da ge jezo bandam jezo be janje jingo Balela me shabe den bandan kanyam yola ndijejo Daje male zazan tipjan den yoda sanje zalangwe basho
His Holiness, the 17th Karmapa Thaye Dorje, honorable teachers, Sangha members, and dear participants. I'm again honored to stand here on behalf of Kibi to give the conclusion speech of the Public Meditation Course 2025. For past 9 days, we have been receiving Sojong vows Receiving Sojong vows offers a powerful opportunity to purify past negativity and repair breaches in ethical conduct. By consciously renewing one's commitment to wholesome behavior, the practitioner creates a fresh foundation for both meditation and daily life. This renewal strengthens mindfulness around actions, speech, and intentions, helping to weaken unskillful habits. Through the ritual of confession and restoration, Sochong brings a sense of clarity, upliftment, and moral integrity that supports all subsequent spiritual practice. Guru Yoga connects the practitioner's mind with the enlightened qualities embodied by the spiritual teacher or lineage. Through devotion, visualizations, and focused recitation, the practitioner opens the heart and dissolves layers of eco-clinging that obscure wisdom. This practice invites blessings that accelerate inner transformation, making the mind more receptive to insight. As a result, Guru Yoga stabilizes concentration, deepens trust in the path, and provides an energizing source of inspiration for all the practices. The 7 points of mind training, or Lojong, offer a practical and compassionate method for transforming everyday difficulties into opportunities for awakening. By training those, the practitioner learns to shift from self-centeredness to a broader perspective grounded in empathy and bodhicitta. The teachings cultivate resilience, patience, and emotional flexibility, qualities that help one meet challenges without being overwhelmed. Over time, Lojong softens the heart, clarifies the mind, and infuses daily life with greater wisdom and compassion. Vipassana meditation directly reveals the impermanent, unsatisfactory, and non-self nature of experience. By observing the flow of sensations, thoughts, and emotions with clear, steady attention, the practitioner uncovers how the mind constructs reality moment by moment. This deep seeing weakens attachment and confusion, allowing ingredient patterns to dissolve. As insight matures, the mind becomes more spacious and free, supporting the profound inner liberation that lies at the heart of the Buddhist path. Mindfulness cultivates the ability to remain present, awake, and attentive to whatever arises. Through steady practice, the mind becomes less scattered and more stable, reducing stress and emotional reactivity. This calm clarity provides an essential foundation for deeper meditative practices, including vipassana and compassion training. By bringing awareness into each moment of daily life, mindfulness fosters groundedness, balance, and a greater sense of ease in all activities. That being said, in Buddhism, a teacher holds immense importance because they serve as a genuine guide on the path to liberation, transmitting the authentic teachings in a clear and accessible way. Therefore, first and foremost, on behalf of everyone gathered here, I would like to express our profound gratitude to His Holiness, the 17th Java Karmapa, for his constant guidance on the path to enlightenment. We are especially thankful for his leadership throughout this course, guiding us in the Chenresig practice and offering precious teachings that enrich both our daily lives and our spiritual journey. Our heartfelt thanks also goes to Tribhuvan Nyingma Rinpoche for bestowing the Sojong vows and for his insightful teachings on Guru Yoga and meditation. I would further like to extend our appreciation to Khenpo Tsiring for his deep understanding of the 7 points of mind training teachings. And to Khenpo Chechok for his valuable teachings on Vipassana meditation based on the 4 foundations of mindfulness. Lastly, we warmly thank Lobem Ma Anipunzo Wangmo for her dedicated interpretation of Tribhuvan Nyingma Rinpoche's teaching. On behalf of Kibi, I stand before you with deep gratitude and sincere appreciation for all our devoted volunteers. Your tireless commitment, generosity, and kindness have been essential to the success of the Public Meditation Course 2025. Your efforts have not only enhanced the journey of every participant, but also brought joy and inspiration to our entire community. Finally, I wholeheartedly dedicate the merits gathered during PMC 2025 to support the long life and good health of His Holiness and all the noble masters. May we all reach perfect enlightenment. As I conclude my speech, I am delighted to share the Karmapa public course for 2026 is scheduled from March 8 to 16, March 2026, and foundational course from January 27 to February 15, 2026. Thank you very much.
And now, dear volunteers, we would like to kindly invite you here to His Holiness, and you will receive a token of appreciation prepared from Kibi. And so I will read the names of the volunteers, and please kindly proceed to receive this token. Translation, Svetlana, into Russian, Svetlana, Irina, and Victor, and Polish, Malvina. Technical team, Daniel Lin, and from abroad, Paul. Office registration, Ava Belana. Gompa preparation and maintenance, Catherine. Serving drinks for teachers, Yayoi. Please kindly stand up and proceed here in front to receive the gifts from Karmapa. Please, go. Yayoi. Flower team, David, Darek, Elena, Anna, Michelle, Gosia, and Natasha. Gompa entrance, Peter and Fleming. Please join us here. Medical team, Dr. Stefan, Brita, and Merim. Please also join us in front. Library, Katrin, Azul, Andrea, Meike, and Suzanne. Shop team, Katia, Karin, Claire, and Marta. dining hall. Beate, Uwe, Laura, and Fan. Cafeteria, Xiao Fang, Justyna, Robert, and Victoria. Information Center, Karmadeki and Karmajonten. Second floor helper, Drima Dawa. Also, please join us here. And for the whole coordination, Bettina also, please. And dear friends, dear Karmapa, there is also one more announcement that Kibi would like to share with everyone, that Kibi has a new web page. And if you would like to keep updated, you may scan the QR codes which you will find around. So you will have a lot of details and information about upcoming events and about Kibi itself. Same with a new webpage of Kibi Library and Publications. And on this webpage, you may find all glossary and catalog of recent publications and many details about the activity of our library. So please look around, and there are the QR codes which will guide you directly to the link so that you can stay updated. Thank you. And of course, Catherine, please come here. Please proceed and join us one more time. And also we would like to express deep gratefulness to Sylvie for the help with the webpage and her wonderful assistance. Thank you so much. She's not here today with us, but we think kindly of her. Yes, thank you.
And once again, very good evening. And yes, this is also a good opportunity to, for me, to thank the organizers, of course, everyone who has contributed, who have made these occasions possible, so that you and I can meet like this, and yes, virtually also we are able to have some form of communication or some interaction, I suppose. And so for that I'm very, very grateful. Thank you so much for taking the time to make these occasions possible. And just as the Kiwi organizers mentioned, the March course, of course, that takes place here annually, is also an important one. And so for that, I also very much look forward to seeing all of you here, so that then once again we can take some time to focus on the Buddha Dharma. I haven't much to add on the importance, because and the importance of taking the time to focus on Buddha Dharma is something that is always present without having to be mentioned or repeated in general. And in particular, if I add, then walking on a fine line, let's say, meaning the fine line would be not to boost our ego in such a way that we think we know it all, meaning that as if we are teachers, you know. Yet at the same time, not using that as an excuse not to learn also. So it's a fine line. And so therefore each and every one of you who have participated over the course of time, who are also coming fresh as well, it's important to know that, you know, what we normally say, next generation, next generation. However that term may be used, nevertheless there is this excitement, let's say, in terms of how the next generation will continue, you know, how they will take it. So that is, the next generation doesn't necessarily mean, you know, physically, not necessarily physically young, but in terms of our interest, you know, how despite of our age, we could be very new to this, and therefore we are the next generation in some sense. And so therefore the hope is that every one of us may be able to learn as much as we can, yet at the same time not abuse the the idea or the term of being a teacher. And so being humble, humble in a way like how Shantideva says that I do this for me, so that I don't put myself in a position where I say I am the savior of all, but instead I do this for myself, and as I evolve, as I develop, then may others witness my development, and through that it may inspire everybody. So in that sense, we might term that as teacher, in that sense. So, and that's there, and so therefore each occasion that we find, like the winter course here and the spring one, are both great opportunities because we're able to gather great teachers. The teachers we have are very, from my personal point of view, very humble, and they're very much in touch with themselves, meaning that they're not maniacs in any sense. They are just being themselves, and so therefore there is something you can value and trust. They're not trying to teach you. They're not trying to lead you somewhere. They're really being themselves, sharing what they know, what they feel, and so therefore you are in very safe hands. So therefore I think there is every benefit for all of you to take part in it. So that's there. Yeah. So then beside that, then since you have requested yesterday for the lung of the Tara, the white Tara practice, I will first read that, and then afterwards we have a few Q&A. Then we focus on the Chenresig, and hopefully it will be a good conclusion to this gathering. And the attainment of immortality. Yes. I must excuse that initially when I read the title from distance, because my eyesight is becoming a little bit bad, mainly because of mobile phone. So I read it as the attainment of immorality. And I thought, this must be the worst mix-up of printing, And immediately I wanted, of course, when Tabga gave 2 days ago, he gave the gesture like tear it, the packaging, I tear it open, I just, like that I saw an attainment of immorality. Anyway, fortunately, yesterday, then by the by, I kept looking. So, immortality, okay, Of course, such term as immortality is out of goodwill, of course. As we say, for auspicious reasons, we use terms like these. But maybe it's like a method to use terms like these also, not just hope. To hope, no, not just hope, but to make us think, I don't know how this English term really comes into being. In the first part, I can recognize in terms of, in general, like a negation word, yes. Then mortal, so mort, or more. In most of the, I don't know, English language refers to some sort of, I don't know, death or fragile or deterioration or something. So then, of course, undying, you know. And so therefore maybe it's a nice, skillful method to make us think about basically change, about flowing things, yes. So in that sense, it's maybe a beneficial title. Because of course the term we have in Tibetan is chime, and so even there, I think it is quite clear that it's a method, I think, to talk about it, you know. We always need some sort of impressive name, impressive title to begin a conversation. Otherwise, it's all some sort of white noise, you know, background noise. So, in that sense, maybe there is some understanding. So, I will read the Tibetan part, the translation part, I don't have to read. Saji bujin jujin medaram rabinjini dejamada sande chingdo mede phawayan ragunamda shingla chopara sho simjenam je sambada loyi chada chada ba chijon thumonte ba chujun kholo kodo so saji bujin jujin medaram rabinjini dejamada ragunamda shingla chopara sho madan tsavela maram bara daga jiwa medan jula kadin chimbagun jizunda kuzon tujung ngondom zado so namorana ya Jesun yijin kholu dunjinan jorun chede chime droba chechawa yuso. Om sovasoti si dam tembe duji jijaman chime pama kutenerin dun sozo cho topche deyi junchi nyamlen che torang samu hadu chala pabi tse dewe tenla samdenji chudun tembe goni. Jube sandamne namanguru ayataraya romangaga wanchosan bocho namde jangan dewa jata budu chene jembodo budu jin chujela maswade wojembodo nanju yoda jidan kaje ombodo jinjare ratun de bengal kujin chudai kamza chala sawada sanjenya bamme jukom kunjambo monjudo jicho won namdan sen kama jame do mo bajin badi men mo jala sawade do jimba mangin de sujido jin tanjo do jada jebelon do ngomzo dembe do dun thaye chala sawade do je kunya kajab do jidan rikin chamda chense wajidun sajula me kungun jizama kangin mendo kaba jiboza timba do denon lo sawande jengonzo berimba da jinen chime hedo je kunjo don jaba kunji jin ko de imen do nyol hundo be jinje lo de ne jabsne kunjo kunde lamara chedon jondola benji jin ko lo droba so za duna da nyondro me to so guzeji pama seji don kala chenran juro wanzara sama ja kunjo sunna da jonje de ba me ga suzo jondo we ga ji ra sang jonje be ga za judo tonjo janjo boda ga jonje ra jonje no ra jonje janjo tonjo je boda jonjo jo ga sunne ge jine sunje tonjo da ga do nga jonjo jonje yon je ba jondola benji sunje do ba kan ro kan de den dongha jo ja tal Deta mindra danyam chinesho omasho nidanjana waja sobo elma ko han tombe ngang le hongye da don le jo sunko nan do chi ji jame khang we pe ka de den ton u ba kan botam jin sen wen je do ni jang de yong jru le Rani and Pamadrome, Daviando, Chintum Kinyamo was there, Nadian Draw, Tavora, Charge of Yeshi, Chintunze, Chai, and Chujin Bento the Juba, Kapotumbo, two Kranzen, Tarakra, Toyon, Hagni, Metia Solo, Novo, Mutike Chu, Jien, Zejian, Pelo, Utra, Leva, Tabora, Chin, Jan, Davajudan, Tojujo, Nesum, Umahunga, was it. December was a Samajan, Home, Bong Home, Yasamabon Layo, Rajanga Gentle Juro, one of the Jumbo, so the Pia, Wangia, La Namji, Omasawatata, got the Abishia, got the Sama Shiri, Hon, she so one Kuroku on the mother Ripa, Rida, Woba, Meji, Ujin Jotrovia, Lamadalan, Churching, Dom, Aria, the Sabari, while Ayataria, Wajar, Agam, Pounding, Push, but Dupe, Alukin, and the nude. Shabda Partija Ahung Soa Ha, Tubani, a lot of lemon to be a Chajibamala, the Humbagon, the Matumana, and the Tukara, Pedro Corliote, what a tam Tingwo, Ha, Zebije, Yundroje, Ekorotun, Dorje, Yumes Tare, to the Returia Soa Ha, she had Sangala dipping which child, say Shamje, the Vedze Tamtara Omahe, but to pay Hanku. Nudaraji Jibijan se Palpil, Pancho, Chinabat, and you, Sijudu, around him, said I introduced Tare to the Mama, you being a Pujan Soha, said of the Kunjan Angela, the Zor Da. Capsu, Rida, Lame, Chime, Sawanzolo, Gube, Jude, Tuji, one Corande, then you say you Tamodo, Lozanaju, Shoko, Canelu. Round Luen Chime, Duzecomojo Omda, she Mela Omda, to Mama, you being a Pujan Kurosawa, she Dao, Twin Tara, Dudane. No Jew, which is on the Nanija, Mimigo, Westland, Chimoro, Tim, Layam, Pamicos and Dunzena, Churk and Alhanga, Shirabova, Tombodona, Ramiam Kama, Genodo, Rosum, Wedo Show, Thomas, Sami, and the Dickens of Church. Our home, Lensum, Tokara, Vegia, Seji, Jetsuma. Nugachit. I don't know spelling that well, to be honest. But there are some obvious ones that anyone can detect. Dum Krajano Majasamanja, Pemakamalaya Satam, Tombro, Drona, Omtare to the Sabari water. Idambalinda Kaka Kahi, Lensum Jepul. Konghala Agam Sochi, Ariatare, Vajar Agam Pandibifu, Nevidi. Shabda Partija Ahon, so Hong Ko, little to the Matudare and Jigger to the Navan. Droma, you must do the Jebe, the Ampama, Javati, and Tuncho Torojella, Down Korochi, and Tado, Sonjova, Change Yellow, Church, Union Swa down, Chodango Malitzo, Idia Nobaja, Majasatova, Temena, Vajra Mos, Mi Shake. Yuna Superantista Vajra Soy Tenjucha. Gendi, Jayum Shera Parochin, Tajandova, continue Rujin Chekun Jetun. Somebody was very forceful. Listen to me, Zon, Satan, she gave a trashy short day. Jim, whom hand down Tashi, Galaxuja, Label Hanjo, Gunijan, Chin, Lavanushin Sebamacho, Lugin, and Drupia Taban, Dendre, Kunji, and Chodocho, Pomadome. Dinchade are then Dagi, Pemman, Sevamba, Mio, Tashi, Hadzeji, Kungo, Ludenteji, Chondro, Kachoji, Gawaniba, Repejo, Dembe, Zambro, Devicoti, Ningbo, Tautin, Casaldo, Bevagale, Pel. Sunam de Tamje Zebanya, Tomne Nebe, Dana Jega Nanje Balon Drubai Sibian Sole and Over Show. Well then, we have some time, so therefore, concerning the topics we've had the last 2 days and during this course, if you have some thoughts that you would like to share, questions that are related to that, then you're most welcome. Yes? Don't. Yeah?
Thank you very much, Karmapa, for your teachings. And I wanted to ask your thoughts about Guru Yoga. And because it seems that on the, let's say, Vajrayana way, the personal relationship, or I don't know if personal is a good word, but relationship with the teacher is very important. And it feels very personal, but that's at the same time, obviously it's often not. Because there's no, well, yeah, there's
no teacher.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I think it's a long subject, yes. I suppose I would draw mostly on that part, which you yourself have already clarified. In order to get personal, or I don't know if intimate is the right term, or close is the right term. It's similar to what I said yesterday evening about even blood relation, which is sort of our society's most almost primordial foundation, to symbolize very close connection. And so therefore, of course, cultures like here in India or great parts of Asia for a long time, and even in the West also many parts, basically where it's interesting in terms of if there is good food, it seems that there is family association. So without having to say east, west or anything, if there's good food culture, then there is something there. But anyway, that's not there or here. Otherwise it just becomes sandwiches from the vendor, you know. And yeah, the list of nutrition is there on the back page or the cover, you know. So the point that I was trying to make yesterday was saying, of course, it is absolutely true to say there is no teacher, you know. But maybe that's too heavy, you know, too much in the face, yes. And, you know, no commitment, you know, probably something that a man might say, you know. And so so therefore Guru Yoga sometimes it could mean that maybe there is a feminine touch there, you know. The opposite of non-commitment, you know. And so therefore, if you think that way, it's maybe interesting. Yeah. But rather than saying there is no teacher or, you know, emptiness, I recently thought of using the term which I used yesterday also, stranger. Yeah. The truth is we are all strangers to each other. Yeah. We have almost no connection whatsoever, even though we may be related by blood or parents, children, and so on, you know. But at the same time, it's amazing that we in Tibetan the term is almost more dramatic. Shata chepe, you know, it's sort of as if torn from my body, you know. Well, basically to talk about blood relation, you know. And the first and foremost is none other than the relationship between oneself and one's mother, yes. And so the closest of the closest, yes. And so, yes, we use that, you know, as home, yeah. And so, but if there's a I don't know, theoretical person next to it, then from that point of view, it's very clear that we are perfect strangers to each other, yeah? No matter how close we think we are to each other. And it's not wrong, but at the same time, it's not to say it's completely right, you know, that's it, you know. But that opposite opinion is interesting. And so therefore, now to form a relation between anyone, which we say now friends, yes, no blood ties, yes, and actually that should be a very challenging journey, actually, yes, because no relation at all, actually. Yeah. And so each of these are, I think, very interesting aspect of how the mind can function, you know. And so, some time ago, I said something about either one could say excuse or a reason, you know, because we would like to have a purpose, of course, for life, in order to live, we want a purpose, yes. We have common terms like we need a belonging. And so therefore, blood ties are one of the most classical reasons, purpose, to say, we share the same blood, we share this and that, we share the same family, parents, then all the way to things like food, recipes and so on. And so friends is a very adventurous journey because it seems very far away. Then of course we have things like race, culture, all those things. Each of them are none other than either, one could say, similar to the tone of no teacher, by saying they are all just excuses. Or, but if you put it in a nicer way, they are just reasons, to say, yes, we are very similar. And so, when we generalize as in the best possible way, then is to say, we are all human beings. Then further on, then we can say things like, we are all sentient beings, Yeah. And so, sometimes through that relation something good can come, and sometimes disturbing things can come, yes. No guarantee. Yeah. But nevertheless, it's not to say we need, but we only have one sort of stomach, let's say, to be able to digest, or we can only eat one spoon at a time, with that kind of logic, yes. And so therefore, since we have to go through one rebirth at a time, yes, because at the moment our condition is such, yes. Otherwise we can go through several lifetimes at a time, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, millions, billions and so on. It's possible. But at the moment, our condition, our temporary condition here is such that we can only go through one at a time. Yeah. Even though countless are going one at a time also, but we don't either notice it or we don't want to notice it. But it's working in work already. Like I said yesterday, karma is at work, So, for example, each of our organs in this very body, yes, they're all living, together, yeah, in one go. Yeah. But either we don't notice that or we don't want to notice it. And so therefore we would like to just round that up, easy number, to say one. So then it becomes I. Yeah. We try to say we, but it becomes complicated, and so therefore the practical one is to say I. Yes. So yeah, these are the things maybe far, far away from the topic of Guru Yoga, but nevertheless they do contribute, yeah, to have a far more wholesome idea about the Guru Yoga. Yeah. So, yeah, we need to become more aware of these things, more watchful, observant of these things. Then we will have a better picture of Guru Yoga. Yeah. To say what is Guru Yoga directly, we will be able to force out yes, no answers, But then it will become, it will be not satisfactory, because it's just sort of like saying tip of the iceberg or something. So then, having established that very roughly, then yes, Guru Yoga is just like saying family, friends, you know. Very skillful, immensely skillful. It's an immensely skillful term, it's an immensely skillful idea, and it's an immensely skillful practice. Yeah. Because you and I, or someone and someone, have probably no common ground whatsoever, you know, bordered by all kinds of elements, language, culture, race, mentality, all sorts of things. Yeah. Yet at the same time, just like how we say, in certain culture, family is everything, you know, and in certain culture, friends is everything, you know. Asia seems to have been for a long time family-based, and other parts more friend-based, you know. I mean, this is just my rough estimation. I'm not saying this is it. That certain cultures prioritize friendship more than family, yes, and some the opposite. Each have their own plus and minus. Yeah. Probably the plus part is that now, as I said, we can only eat one spoon at a time, you know. So we resort to one, you know. We accept. I don't know if it's really real acceptance, but probably it's more closer to say to resort, you know, to one, you know. And then now use that as a basis and then see what we can build, you know. Out of that relation, what can we build, you know, how can we make it meaningful? So so that we have a starting point. And so likewise, the Guru Yoga is, yes, completely made up, just like the idea of family or friend. Yeah. But skillful. Yeah. Because now we cannot say, you know, everything in one go, you know, because, like I said, one spoon at a time, yes, or one life at a time. So therefore, we make use of one particular method, and in this case we say Guru Yoga. Probably it's more on a base of friendship, yeah, than blood, you know. Yeah. Often it is the case. Yeah. If you have a guru that is related, becomes very tricky. Yeah. Because we think we have a leverage, you know. And so often it is better if it's an outsider. Yeah. Well, that should branch off all kinds of thoughts, you know. So the purpose of it, well, I don't really need to talk about the purpose. What was your question concerning the Guru Yoga? You forgot? Okay.
It was your thoughts on Guru Yoga. So
Huh?
thank you. It was your thoughts on
My
Guru
thought,
Yoga.
okay, yeah, okay.
So it's a perfect answer.
I have many thoughts, yes. So it's skillful, and the minus part I think I covered more or less. Yes. But beside all the miraculous aspects and the emotional aspects, just like the term here of this book, immortality, yes, or Tibetan term chime, you know. If you think from that perspective, maybe it's interesting. Yeah. It's I don't like to use the term test, you know, but it forces us to use the term test. Yeah. You wouldn't know about cricket, yes, but the highest form of that sport is called test match. And so the term might suggest as if this is just practice, you know, and it's not the real thing, but it is the real thing. But the name is test match, you know, and it's supposed to be the most difficult one. Yeah. So in that sense, maybe we can use the word test, you know, without saying the Creator is testing you, you know. But yes, how much can we devote, you know? How much of concentration we can have, focus, a devotion, everything, you know. How is it possible? Yes. And well, the common logic would be impossible. Yeah. That there will be a breaking point, you know, at some point. Yet at the same time, if you widen our perspective, yes, it is possible. You know, there are signs and proofs that it's possible. Because the relationship between a mother and a child is such that the truth is they are strangers to each other. But my goodness, the kind of bond that they could have, you know. That particularly for the mother, till way after either the child is gone or till the end of her days, it's constant focus, you know, constant attention, constant devotion. Yeah. Of course, I'm talking about a dedicated one, a good relation, yes. And if that's possible, yes, because blood relation is only a reason, not more. Because we have all sorts of blood relations, yes, yet we don't connect, yes. But it's not really to say when it's used right, but any excuse, in this case even a blood relation, when it's cherished, yeah, rather than saying used, when it's cherished, it's unbelievable, you know. It is possible in this sense, not impossible. Yeah. So if you think in that way, that all these terms or relations are just reasons, you know, and to kind of balance out blood relation and non-blood relation, yes. then Guru Yoga probably is possible. Yeah. Because of course, until our mind is awake enough, till then we need this feeling. Yes, I have no other way to say but need, this feeling that from this person, no matter what I do, that I will never be judged. Even if I become a criminal, that I will still be looked after, thought of. Yes. And it's the most amazing feeling, yes. That this person will fight for you, this person will, go to the ends of the world for you, And so when this thing comes, then whether it's blood or no blood doesn't matter. And then we can understand why sometimes we favor friends over blood, And sometimes it's possible or more logical that it's coming from blood relation. Yeah. So Guru, often when it's distorted, then it's from the obvious starting point, we see it like a master, of a slave or something. But it's more of the other way. Yeah, it's more like a mother, rather than a father. Yeah. Of course, often we use the symbolic term father in this case, yes, to make it more prominent, to make it more impressive, like a lion, yes. But the one who really does the job is the lioness, yes. It's not the lion. Yeah. Lion is very impressive, of course, yes, but it's often just sleeping, yes. And gets bothered by the cubs, Whereas the lioness, no matter how ferocious she is, how intimidating she may be, there is always that soft touch, yes. That with her sharp fangs she can carry you and not damage you. Yes. So yes, Guru Yoga, it's, I think, more of a relationship to a mother, I would say. Yeah. But then we don't want to look weak as the student, and so therefore probably it's more I don't know, one could feel more proud to say it's my father, father and son, to really establish my territory, But it's actually more of a relationship between, well, not necessarily a son in this case, but that of between children and mother. Yeah. It's a delicate balance, but nevertheless it's closer to that. Yeah. Because they don't judge you actually. Yeah. Yes, the outer or the exterior aspect is more like a father. To be constantly saying, no, you cannot do this, you cannot do that, But the compassion aspect of the guru or the teacher is more like a mother. Yeah. Because It's not that sweet, sugary compassion, no, but it's more of that part where there is no real judgment. Yeah. Because as a sentient being, we are utterly hopeless, in that sense. If we think of ourselves as sentient being, we are utterly hopeless. In a nice way, like a baby, but in a not nice way, like a hopeless adult, hopeless addict, hopeless warmonger, I don't know, whatnot, human trafficker, yes, worst of the worst, hopeless, So, yet, if they are able to accept that part, well, that so-called teacher must have a big stomach, And so therefore now to awake this particular student up from that confused state, obviously it's like entering a rehab, yes. So therefore it's not that smooth. Yeah. It is sort of tough, yes. And so therefore I think children can understand, even if their parents are tough, whether it is coming from love, or if they're showing their toughness on the children out of simply frustration, they can recognize. Similarly, we can recognize as students if our teacher, if they are tough on us, if it's coming from a good heart, meaning out of compassion, or well, they're not teachers at all, It's coming from their frustration of keeping up with their title of being a teacher. Yeah. So it's a fine line. Yes. There is no real manual guide as to which is the right way. Yeah. It's almost impossible. Yeah. But if there is one, is those simple aspects, is to say we have the common sense, or we have the wisdom. Very blunt, but we have the common sense, yeah, to kind of recognize, to break through. Yeah. So a loving mother trying to guide the children in a rough way, but we have the common sense to recognize that it's not what is the term in English? I don't remember. Well, it's basically it's not out of emotion. Yeah. It's not out of negativity. Yeah. It's not being mean. Yeah. So we have to have a bit of trust in that. Yeah. Trust in our common sense. So meaning if we give in to our emotions, then it'll be more difficult for us to recognize a true teacher. Yeah. Meaning, if we make ourselves more helpless than we are, because okay, there is no shame in admitting that we are kind of helpless, but then that's good, that's healthy, But then we shouldn't make ourselves even more helpless by further, becoming a vegetable or something, Then we will not give ourselves the chance to actually have some productivity. Yeah. So that's why the Bodhisattva's guide or way, often one of the main advices are to say, don't be lazy, or things like, be more diligent, and so on. It's not saying, it's not about, be tough and so on, but it's more about sort of, to say, stay in your own level, We may be helpless, but be there, We don't have to de-evaluate or, make ourselves lesser than that. Because then we will not recognize at all. Then we will have no common sense. But if you are in that range of accepting exactly where we are, then actually we will be able to pretty much recognize the teacher or the mother, So, yeah, that's it. Yes? The microphone is sleeping.
Dear Karmapa, yesterday you said I need to control my dreams. Should I find some methods on the internet? Or are there any Buddhist practice I can use?
Okay. Caffeine?
A lot of caffeine already.
Okay. No, there are methods on the internet, yes. And there are methods in the library also, yes. I have many thoughts, of course, about this case, yes. But I cannot give prescription, the right one, because I really don't know exactly your actual condition. So therefore, I'm pretty much generalizing, or giving a very general advice. And so therefore, yes, in general, there are ways to make use of even sleep, But this is something that is sort of based more on an individual case. Yeah. And so therefore I cannot honestly give you a direct instruction on how to go about it. Yeah. But otherwise, There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah. Probably you'll commit less crime than the rest of us, you know. Innocent as a baby, you know. But probably you can tweak certain things in terms of before you sleep. Maybe try to motivate yourself that maybe, well, it sounds strange, you know, but to say I sleep with some form of awareness, you know, that I don't just pass out, but instead this is my maybe health condition, you know, or a genetic condition, and so therefore this is my current state, and so since I'm more aware of it, I'm more accepting of this condition, then before going to sleep, then to say, hopefully through it I may be able to accumulate some good karma. I don't know how, but nevertheless, maybe in this case that I'm resting, hopefully for a good cause, you know, no matter how strange it sounds. And every time you wake up, you tell yourself that I woke up from having motivated myself in a good way before I slept, and so hopefully I might have generated some good karma. And now that I am awake, I dedicate that, you know. So in simple forms like that, maybe. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, Pa. Then after.
Karmapa. In the practices like Sojong, Monlam, Chenresig, Dorje, Sempa, there is a big emphasis on confession. So the question is, what are the mechanics of confession? How it should be done properly so that we can truly confess?
You mean confession, not compassion?
Confession, yes.
Confession.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. I suppose the Tibetan term for it is shakpa. You know, shakpa. And the closest thing we can find in English term is confession. Nothing wrong with it, of course. It suits more the culture and the mentality of English language, you know. So in that sense, nothing wrong. But shakpa is closer to the culture and the mentality of that, you know, meaning closer to Buddhism. Yes. Shakpa is sort of, I don't know how to say it. It's like letting go. Yeah. Because let's say if I have even lied a white lie, yes. It's possible that I may forget, you know, but it's also possible, probably more possible, that I don't forget actually. Yeah. I reserve it, to a certain degree. And maybe for the fact that I actually forget that I have lied is because maybe it was quite prominent to me. And so therefore I find ways to layer it up, And therefore then we have sort of, well, not to say surprise, but as if we feel confused. Then confusion comes, And so therefore, shakpa means letting go. But letting go in this case, saying forget it, not in that sense. Like for example, among deaf, if you have a deaf friend, if you lie, you can lie the worst of lies, but it won't matter, yes? But those who have ears, those who can, not just ears, but can cognitive, recognize, then to them it becomes a lie, yes? So that's how karma works, yes? So then, I suppose we have to use the term confess, but basically the point is being honest, and we share it, we pronounce it, announce it, yes? And so it's not easy, of course, because unless you have a good environment, meaning those who can understand, if you just publicly announce, either it would not mean anything, or it will make the situation worse, sort of thing, So therefore, that's why we say sangha or something. I don't know how well we use that term, actually, but within that environment, it's like within the environment of mentally disturbed, Probably that's closer to a sangha. We accept that we are all mentally disturbed in this hall, and therefore we have probably a better outcome for being honest. Because we all want to be not disturbed, of course, and be free from it, yes? And so there's a general understanding, yes? And so therefore, it's a proper environment. Otherwise, yes, it could probably create more confusion. Yeah. So shakpa is sort of letting go, that I don't hold it anymore. Yet at the same time, this is also a very fine line, as I've just said so far. Because now we need to be also skillful, even to be honest, we need to be a little bit skillful. We cannot just randomly be honest, Like we cannot, just because we are friends, I cannot randomly talk about my level of flatulence, It's kind of disturbing, yes. So you need a sense of, common sense, yes. When, where, who, how, all of that is important, Yeah. And so therefore there is, we say, oh, we create a center, all that. The main reason of having a center or having a group or something is so that it's not to become groupies, of course, but it's the genuine intention is so that then we can begin to be a little bit more understanding. Yeah. So that then I can open up, in short. Yeah. And not end up in tabloids, you know. And so creating a safe environment, and then from there, then hopefully we can progress, you know. Because once that is out, there's a sense of great relief, freedom, yes. And then, in fact, most of even physical illness or symptoms or not being able to sleep, not having high blood pressure, or all of those things goes away, you know. And then you are left with really just the actual, if there is an illness now, then now that's a real illness, you know. If you have diabetes or if you have this disease or that disease, now that's a real one. It's really just karmic one, you know. Whereas at the moment we don't know which is karmic and which is, you know, just due to not being able to let go, you know. And so sometimes we may do a lot of pujas, but it doesn't work because we haven't, well, in this case, done the confession. So therefore pujas seem useless, you know. So, yeah, actually in that sense it's more simple, yeah. But have to have, as you said, the technicality of it is we have to have common sense, yeah. That we can talk about it to maybe a senior member now who also has experienced in having opened up, you know. They also had their history and they have opened up, they were guided properly, and now they are experienced, you know. To them you can open up. Let's say you open up to a newcomer, you might most likely, you know, blow out their hope of, you know, of their enthusiasm, you know. Although from your part you didn't mean to do that, you just meant to be honest, you know. But to them all their hopes die, just because you opened up. So it's like saying to a doctor, then you can be close and talk very close, you know. And they will not be disturbed by your bad breath, yes. They will think, okay, either it's the teeth or you have something wrong with your gut, you know. But to a stranger, if you do, then they don't want to talk to you, you know. Yeah. So something like that. Yeah. So one has to be a little bit skillful. Yeah. Now, on the other hand, since Buddhism has taken a great root, or the Tibetans, we as Tibetans have cherished Buddhism for a long time, more than, you know, compared to the globalization of Buddhism, let's say. We have taken a little too extreme in this case, yeah, in terms of being skillful. Yeah. That to a point where we kind of almost have bottled up. Yeah. Meaning that we know that it's kind of we need to be extra careful about opening, you know, yeah, because there's a lot of risk, you know. In this case, not just to yourself but to others, you know. And so therefore, in this case, you don't need to go to that extent. Yeah. But at the same time, not to be a complete, you know, as we say, open book, you know. That's also not the way. Yeah. We need to be sensible. Yeah. We know that we need to open up, but we need to find the right environment. Yeah. So it doesn't mean, again, in this case, to find someone very, very understanding, where you know, we can continue to do many wrongdoings, you know. Not in that sense, but someone who's really understanding enough where they can accept it, yet at the same time they are also strong enough, skillful enough, smart enough to guide you, you know, so that you won't repeat it again. Yeah. Because maybe it's difficult to admit that I'm an alcoholic, yes. But a good friend would be someone who can accept that without judgment, yet at the same time now make sure that you don't fall. Yeah. So sangha in that sense. Yeah. Yeah. Clear? Or? Okay. I don't know who it was. So okay, yeah. And after, yes, after.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. My question, in extent of the theme of compassion or confession. Sorry. You just said that we need to be honest.
Yes.
And in the practice of Sajong, we are talking about heavy deeds, stealing from Sangha and etc.
Yes, yes.
But to be honest, in that life, I don't remember that I steal from Sangha. And is it skillful method, or maybe how to deal with that in the right way in this practice of Sajong? Thank you.
Well, I think it's probably a continuation of what I said. We know what we need to do. Yeah. On the other hand, like I said, it's possible that we forgot. You know, we don't remember. That's also there. Yeah. And probably it is due to that sometimes obstacles come. We just cannot figure out exactly what are the cause for those obstacles. You know, maybe it's because in the past we did something and we either neglected completely, or we were too busy. I don't know. Maybe we had an accident, and before we could repair it, we happened to pass away or something, you know. So those things are possible. Yeah. But the point here that I'm trying to make is that we need to be skillful. We need to be honest, but in a skillful way. Yeah. If we just completely open up, just with the thought that being honest is good, sometimes creates more disturbances, yeah, for oneself, for others, and one may even regret, after having opened up, then one regrets that, if I only didn't do that, maybe things would be better. Then that's not a good thing, of course, because the point is to be honest, yes. So, yes, skillful, yeah. But skillful not in a way that we bottle up, and can be completely closed. Yeah. So, yes. So. Yeah, that's all I can say at the moment. Yes. Yes.
Dear Karmapa, I have one question about suffering. This year we lost our friends in car accident, and I lost my husband. We used to come here together, and also on Nyungne with Rinpoche. And for them it was actually perfect, because their Lama, Ole, blessed them. Rinpoche made puja for them. You also bless them many times, because many people sent you pictures. And my question is how to stop suffer, blame myself, and feeling sorry, like myself. That's it. Thank
you. Of course, condolences, and of course, prayers are there from my side as well as from everyone, of course. But I think we kind of know that even though emotion kind of makes us lean towards blaming, meaning finding a reason, but like I said, we have either one could say our common sense, or we kind of know that that's not the right way. Yeah. So we know it, If you don't know, then of course it's another case, but we know. For example, it can be a case where I happen to ask someone to get, medicine, to go buy medicine from the local store or something. And therefore someone passed away due to that, and during that time maybe there was an accident or something. Yes, of course, we can draw the conclusion that I'm involved in that in some way, if I only didn't ask, But no, that's just our emotion sort of forcing us to think that way, I think. Yeah. Whereas it's difficult to say it's completely karma, of course, as if it's destined. to pass away like that. Yeah. Then that makes us think that as if I cannot do anything. Yes. And is it about saying it's 50-50? That's also not the way, of course. And so all that we can just simply throw it away. Yeah. It's just that life is unbelievably unpredictable. That's one fact we can accept or try to accept. And then based on that, maybe something good can come. Yeah. Not in terms of making things okay, you know, like a justification. Not in that sense, but it's a completely different thing. Yeah. Because what has now happened has already happened. And or let's say we are moments away from happening also, you know. Do we have really control over it? If there was a possible to change things, change the circumstances? No, not at all. Even if we were able to you know, be in that position where before it happens, can we change things? Can we alter things? No. We have no idea, or we have no way of predicting what will happen afterwards, you know. Completely different. You know? So what we are left with is this very moment. Yeah? And now how we use this very moment is all that matters. Yeah. So blaming seems in some ways natural, you know, but there is no reason to blame oneself or others or anything. It's completely meaningless. Yeah. The term, I think the birth of how the term blame came into being is, I think, such that to say it's useless, you know, but it's not to use it, I think. Yeah. But if you don't have a term for it, then we would not know how to express that, yes. So, the deceased one, or the loved one, is he or she, for anyone for that matter, are they on the right track? Are they happy? Of course, those are our natural concerns, yes? But there is nothing to worry about that, actually. Yeah. Their state would be completely different from ours, in ways we cannot imagine, actually. Yeah. Logically, we can put two and two together, and there is quite a good idea of where that person might be, you know. If that person lived a good life, maybe might be having a good rebirth. If that person lived a, I don't know, a difficult life, you know, then similar, something like that. But the actual outcome is completely unpredictable. Yeah. I'm not saying that there is no karma, you know, not in that sense. But the whole reality of how that person may be experiencing is completely different. Because right now we are only thinking of that person from our current state, you know. So like I said, in the past few days, who knows, maybe next time round I will be a fish, you know. And so therefore I have no need to worry about, I don't know, the human challenges, you know. I have other challenges to worry about. I have to worry more about bigger fishes, you know. So it's completely different. Yeah. So the point is, the concern, the worry, that's a good sign. Yeah. That's a sign that you are pretty much awake. Yeah. If there is no worry, if there is no concern, maybe that's not so healthy, you know. But now, should you should you bury yourself in that worry? Should you just be burdened by that experience, you know, that loss, that feeling of loss? And then, how to say, our common sense will naturally say that that's not the way to go. Because, yes, we can make it as heavy as we want, you know, and so that we feel I'm either mourning or I'm grieving, I'm doing something for my part, you know, which almost kind of feels right, yes, but that's not the way, of course, because what will happen is at some point we will simply not be able to carry that weight, which is kind of made, you know, built, not natural, yes. And so therefore we will want to alleviate ourselves from there and not know that it was built. Then once, somehow, one way or the other, once we are free from that, we will be falling into very strangely in a similar state, you know, meaning back to a place where we will basically repeat. Yeah. So, in short, all I can say, I'm maybe not explaining things or answering clearly, yes? So, in short, I will say that there's not much to worry for the fact that he also have, you know, taken part in the Sojong vow. I'm sure there is great benefit, yeah, but we cannot imagine the benefit, yeah. We can only imagine the benefit in our own way right now, yes. A better rebirth, a God rebirth, and so on, or a higher rebirth, you know, or a human rebirth. In short, there's not much to worry, yeah. Now, what you have to do is live this life in the most beneficial way. Yeah. Now that's something, whoever it is, in this case, your partner, will be able to experience it, appreciate it. Yeah. Even though they may not have omniscience or anything like that, but they can experience it. Yeah. For example, for no reason we can enjoy a good day, yes? For no reason the day is nice, you know. For no reason the same cup of tea that we always drink is more tastier. For no reason the walk seems so, I don't know, alive, you know. For no reason. We would think maybe it's just I'm healthy maybe today, or today's my lucky day, or something. Yes. whenever something like that happens, it's someone else who's accumulating merit. Yeah. Someone you know, someone that you're related to, blood or no blood, doesn't matter. And so there is an effect. Yeah. So therefore, you don't have to feel that you are completely disconnected, or now there's a huge vacuum or something. No, and there isn't. So now it's all about you yourself doing your very best to live, an honest, good life. Hopefully with a lot of practice. Yeah? That's all I can say.
Thank you. Thank you, Karmapa.
Okay. So, then, if there are no more questions, then we will focus on Chenresig for this time. Oh, there's one there. Pachi, you say.
Thank you, dear Karmapa, for sharing your thoughts with us, and thank you, precious teachers, for also this past course. If you could just give maybe some short advices on, especially the practice of lojong, which we were getting wonderful teachings from Khenpo Tsering about. If you could just give us some short advices for how we actualize and put into use the both ultimate and relative bodhicitta in kind of a short way that we can bring forward, in our practice and in our everyday life. That would be wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. For those of us who grew up in environments where we would memorize text, I would say we really appreciate that a lot. Or I very much appreciate that. Yeah. Of course, we had the fortune of having really good translated literatures to memorize, of course, which is naturally in Tibetan, yes, which is very easy, well, not that easy, but quite easy to translate into our colloquial Tibetan language. So, from very small, we were taught to memorize many texts, yes, and I'm not saying that's it, that's the method, but that thought naturally came into mind right now. And the reason is similar to also reading a lot, yeah? Meaning not to create a book club and read and say I have read thousands of books for this year and so on and achieve a milestone. Not in that sense. Of course, it's better than doing lots of other meaningless things, But in this case, reading meaning actual literatures that are undisputed, So, meaning composed by well-known bodhisattvas, In this case, particularly for the lojong, I think the Bodhicaya Avatara by Shantideva is it. Yeah. There's nothing like it. Yeah. It's extensive as you can get. Yeah. So think in that term, and don't think of the number of chapters. Don't think in terms of the thickness of the book, but think it's extensive. Yeah. And just read. Yeah. Meaning, just like how we normally read all kinds of novels and self-help books, you know, pretty much we can read it in the same fashion. Yeah. But in this case, don't read just once, you know, but keep reading. Yeah. Over and over and over again, just like how we would say, you know, until the rosary is almost gone, you know. Of course, that's not a thing to prove, but similarly, until the book is completely tattered, you know. And there is something there, yeah, beside the formal meditation and practice, you know. Because at the end of the day, who are we? Yes, nothing but a pattern of habit. Yeah, nothing else. I remember that line from a movie: "We are nothing but shadows and dust, Maximus." You know. So, shadows and dust, Maximus. Of course, when it's voiced out by a good actor, it's like that, yes. Yeah, we're just nothing but patterns of habit, you know. Yeah. Because how I was yesterday is pretty much gone today. Yeah. And on a scientific level, they can kind of pretty much prove that, yes. After, I don't know, more than 24 hours or something, all the cell has completely changed or something. But somehow the pattern is more or less there. So therefore, our fingerprints don't change. Our DNA more or less don't change. So, yeah. So we're nothing but that habitual pattern. And so it's all about creating certain habits, you know. And then according to that pattern, something happens, yeah. And so therefore, the more we memorize the text, the more we read those literatures, then because every moment and every day is completely different and kind of chaotic, something or the other occurs, you know, in the form of obstacle or, I don't know, accident or something. And the very words that we have memorized, the very literature that we have memorized, just, you know, fits right there together. And you almost feel like the prediction came true, sort of thing, you know. Of course, it's not prediction, yes. And then we will naturally open up, yeah, more than just the formal practice. Formal practice, of course, is beautiful. Yes, there's nothing like it. There is its own blessing, there is its own beauty in everything. But we need something a little bit closer to home. Yes. And so, I would say such literature is invaluable. Yeah. Yes. It is written long time ago, so therefore some words are a little bit cryptic, a little bit seems almost out of date, you know, because at that time, even though the social structure must have had its own challenges also, you know, but nevertheless a little bit different from now, yes, and so therefore certain cultural and mentality-wise a little bit different, yes, but basically the main structure, the main challenges, the main advices, the main truth is the truth of suffering, one could say, or the truth of conditions and so on. That's unchanging, you know. And how the mind begins to function differently when it's in a different pattern, you know. Because from an ordinary, as we say, ordinary state of mind, there's a readable, understandable pattern, yes. Now we are trying to sort of change that pattern, yes. But obviously we cannot change everything right away. It's not possible. And so therefore it's a gradual change. And as that change happens, the mental state feels more and more put on a spotlight, you know, as if it's being interrogated. And so as a result, then the mind begins to vibe out lots of strange symptoms, you know, of I don't know, justifying that I'm innocent, you know. And so therefore all those level of experience is described in the whole series of chapters. And so therefore it's a complete prediction in some ways, you know, or a diary, you know. And so therefore naturally it will help the lojong, naturally helps the mind training, and there's nothing like it, yes. Yes, 37 practice of Bodhisattva is something that is easier to memorize, easier to read, but it's too condensed, you know. And so therefore, until we have understood, have some good coordination with literature like the Bodhicaya Avatara, to use the shortcut is a little bit difficult. Yeah. Once we know the Bodhicaya Avatara well, then the 37 practice literature is really useful because it's a shortcut, you know. Yeah. Okay, I think there is no one, so yeah, okay. Oh, there is. I think there is one there.
Hello, thank you very much for all these precious teachings. I just would like to have a question about the present moment. Today Kempola mentioned that, but also I would like to hear a little bit about that from you, please.
About?
Present moment.
Present moment. Well, actually, there is not much to talk about present moment. I mean, either one can talk a lot about it, or there is just nothing to talk about. The reality is something like that. Meaning, on the one hand, being able to talk a lot about it is everything, you know. How I am feeling, am I hungry, am I sitting comfortably, am I worried, all sorts of things. Everything that we can think of, you know, everything that we can not think of, but everything that we feel in this present moment, experience in this present moment, that's it, you know. But at the same time, on the other hand, not being able to talk about it is, how do we describe all of those in one word, let's say, you know. It's impossible. Yeah. And so therefore, we don't find the right or adequate term for it, beside maybe something like, I don't know, or you know, or something. Yeah. So, of course, poetically, then we can put together by saying something like, it's not stuck, yeah, and it's not going anywhere. Probably that's the best way to describe it. Yeah. Past is talking about past and future is pretty much a way to talk about the present at the end of the day. Because there is no real past, there is no real future, it's just because all we can experience and know is this moment, which we are doing all the time. But because it's either, one could say, you know, clockwise, it's too fast. And so therefore we resort to using concepts to talk about it. And so therefore, to make sense, you know. Otherwise, just to talk about the present, maybe we have to use either constantly, you know, English language-wise, what's the term? Vowel and constant, what was it? Consonant? No, verb and noun, yes. Verb and noun, verb and noun, verb and noun, you know. Let's say if you use a succession of verbs or if you use a succession of nouns, does it make sense? Yes. Just name after name after name, you know. I'm sure there are languages like that also, but at the moment it's not familiar to us. So therefore, we need to put verb and a noun, you know, in such a way that it kind of works, you know, sensible enough, yes. So therefore, we come up with things like past and future and so on, yeah. But that's about it. In reality, either we can talk about it or we just cannot talk about it. Yeah. So, well, in order to not to have awkward silences, then because of that fact, then we try to talk, you know, more, and it feels nice, of course. It feels alive. We recognize the moment it is just a repetition, you know. We can sense it already if it's tape recording, you know. That's why some people have difficulty in listening to New Age music, yes, because one can spot that it's a repetition. Yes. So therefore we need something irregular, you know. Yeah. And so the only notes we have are past, present and future, you know. And then with just those three, then we create all kinds of ideas, you know. So it's just music, yeah, and nothing else. So it depends on each, well, one could say karma, depending on each culture. Every time when there's a human condition, accordingly they will come up with very intricate ways to talk about present or past or future, you know, same thing, but as those who can make more musical, the more enjoyable it is. Yes. With a lot of surprises, cliffhangers, you know, and not just also music, you know, so that there is this, I don't know, hope or excitement or curiosity, yes, curiosity about what the next note would be, you know? And then, yes, I guess that's why then we go for movies, or I don't know, read a novel or an interesting book, you know. It's more for that. Yeah. But the actual present moment or actual past or actual future, nothing to talk about. It's completely the same thing. Yes?
And about this moment when we do meditation,
yeah,
it's like we try to be on the present moment when we do meditation, right?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, yes, that's what we say, yes, to focus on the present moment. But do you like it, you know? That's the thing. If you don't like it, it's no meaning at all. Yeah? Just because someone said so, it's not it. Yeah? So therefore sometimes we force ourselves, and it's boring, and after some time really painful. Because when we try to really focus on the present moment during meditation, what is the thing that happens a lot? Thoughts. Thoughts, yes? All kinds of thoughts, you know? It's like saying, don't think. And it's the same thing, same effect like to say, don't think of this elephant or something, yeah? Same thing. So for the fact that we said don't think, suddenly more thoughts that we could possibly produce actually comes into being, you know. So maybe it's a test, you know, or in cricket terms, test match. Because then that's the thing you deal with, you know. But now in this case you know that those are either by habit or you know, the aftermath of a habit, you know, the residual effect, you know, of all the previous thoughts, like an echo that comes, which will slow down eventually, yes. So with enough meditation you can detect that there are echoes, and slowly you can experience the reduction of echoes, you know. And then you probably come closer to, well, not to say something more real, but the in-between note, the pause. And so now that's another challenge. Yes, we don't know what to deal with that pause. We don't know how to deal with that silence. Yeah? It can be very, very overwhelming, that silence. Initially, very difficult to get to, yes, because we have been too busy, yes. But now that we have given enough time, have put in a bit of effort, and so now we have quiet our mind, And so now, for the first time, we initially get some glimpses of that in-between note, one could say. Then we can just, of course, focus on that more and more, and well, it's not really to say prolong it, but to be, well, I suppose first is there's an excitement, and the excitement comes out in a form of saying, now I know how to meditate, But that's just because for the first time we have experienced a glimpse of that pause. Yeah. But is that everything? Oh, obviously not. Yes. And so, can we just keep that on forever? Sure, we can do that. Yes. But then we try to be. Not we try to be, but now we need to give it some meaning. Well, of course, it's not really giving meaning. It's just basically you're trying to. You did your very best till now to block the wave, sort of thing, and you experience that pause, but it comes after some time. And so now what we are trying to do differently this time is, rather than experiencing a note that just came out of nowhere, this time round we're trying to say, I am the creator, sort of thing, I am making the note. I'm in charge of it. I am the composer. I am the musician, rather than just hearing all sorts of strange noises, that we feel like it's either an accident or a fluke or done by others, In this case, let's say I'm doing it, So it may sound like brainwashing, but it's not really. In this case, you are trying to write that note, It is true that it just happens, But in this case, you are saying, I'm in charge of it, so therefore you're kind of writing it. So you go with the same flow. In order to write it, you must have, you must be courageous, of course, and at the same time, you have to know that it's a wave. You have to recognize it. That's why we say we need awareness, So mindfulness comes into being. Karma abiding already, we should have taken place already, just to have experienced that in between the note, So therefore, meaning to be able to drive a car, you need to know that it's a car. Yes, you need to know how to drive, and but once you are very, very familiar, you don't even realize that you are driving. yes? And then you can do other things. You can talk, you can think, you can do many things, yes? So like that, you know. So basically, first sign you feel, when you feel that, oh, now I know meditation, is because you discovered the in-between node. Now if you're really going somewhere, scratching the surface of the vipassana, then maybe it's, you discover that, you know, you cannot stop thoughts, you know. Yes, it was a luxury to be able to focus on the in-between node, you know. It's not really the case where you prolonged or you paused the notes, you know. It's more of you zoomed in on it, you know what I mean? If you zoom in on a rough surface, after some time it's flat, you know. Or if you completely zoom out, again it's flat. In between there you can see a wave, yes? So therefore, with the shamatha, all you did was first to get a grip, you just got to that optimal level, as they say, where you can just see a flat note, you know, meaning no note, no wave, yes? But now you zoom out, or either way, same thing. Now you can see either the rise or the fall, you know, of the note, yes? But this time you are aware of it, so that's what I mean by you're riding it, you know. So, yes, there is that jittery or excitement, you know. But hopefully you are brave enough, and so therefore you now go along with it, you ride it, and yeah, it's something like that. Yeah. So therefore, I think to understand the present moment is not that difficult, I think. But yes, well, I think I was about to talk about the motivation before the practice of the present moment. But maybe I already talked about it already, because I said you need courage, yes? So courage is none other than compassion, of course, yes? So therefore, before the focus, before focusing on the present moment, the motivation is very, very important. Yeah. Otherwise, we are meditating, we are seeing the present or experiencing the present, but now it's like a tornado, you know, or a whirlpool where we don't know what's happening, you know. There's a lot of excitement, there's a lot of enjoyment, but that's about it. Yes. So therefore, the motivation is very important. That's why before beginning any activity, we recite the refuge and the four immeasurables, yes. As long as we know the meaning, we don't even need to recite the words maybe. But I'm just saying for practical reasons, okay? So that the point is that you know that I'm doing it, I'm focusing on the present moment, for what? For them, or something like that, you know? And then there's a sense of courage, you know, when you ride the roller coaster. Yeah. Because you cannot stop the notes, or you cannot stop the roller coaster. Not that there is one, but karmically, what we see whatever it is in the form of notes, in the form of a roller coaster. Yes. And so, instead of being afraid of it, we need to ride it, and in order to ride it, we need a good motivation, and that is none other than compassion. Yeah. Then maybe we are onto something. Yeah. So, during the ride, there is no thought of past, present, or future. Yeah. All there is just that ride. Yeah. Okay, so then.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, I think. Anyway, you're hearing everything, so okay. Last one. Last one.
Excuse me, just confirmation.
Yeah.
So the confession in all of our practices is not about the meditation, it's about acting and speaking up. Is this correct?
No, not correct. I mean, correct in a way. Letting go part, yes, it's correct. In the definition of it is none other than to let go, yeah, and make it transparent, make it known. I mean, eventually, like I said, first we initiate the confession within the Sangha, yes. Then slowly, as we gain more courage, then we can open up more and more, go beyond, until we are almost invisible, Confession in that sense, yeah. So, as I said, the benefit of it is that then there is no anxiety anymore. Yes. Meditation-wise, then of course now we are trying to, I suppose, focus on the using analytical mind. Yes, analytical mind. By then breaking through, because confess initially it is as if there is something to confess. Yes, it means that my past is still real. Yes. So for that sake, we do the groundbreaking, I don't know, the ground level, the first level form of confession. Yes. Then we are more comfortable, we are anxiety free, because now I have nothing to hide. Yes. Which makes you either very good or very dangerous in some because now you will do almost anything, at any moment. You become a terrorist. But then, of course, we don't want to become a terrorist. So therefore, now it's not a case where now I am free because I have no more past or something like that, but then we slowly examine and see now exactly where are we hanging out, or hanging in, or hanging on to. It could be the part of I, it could be the part of am, many places still, we can have only one place which is I, to hide or to hang. But like I said, just like the idea of zooming in and zooming out, it's not as plain as eye, you know. When you either zoom in or zoom out, again you can see intricate aspect of the eye. Yeah. Like from a distance, from a certain distance, we can see the planet Earth almost a dot. Yes. But when you zoom in, you see it's not a dot. Yeah. It's so many things, you know. But if you completely zoom out, it's not even a dot, it's gone. Yeah. So, and therefore, analytically, then we have to again, well, not to destroy per se, but we have to discover at least, you know, the origin of negativity, you know, because we don't want to be constantly confessing. Yes, that would be very tiring. And so therefore we try to discover the origin, and so then naturally we come to the part of emptiness, you know. So obviously meditation is involved, yes, but the ground level is first, as they say in English, when in Rome. So therefore, when in human condition, particularly those with faculty, yes, that's why we say, let me have a precious existence, meaning those where, you know, the faculties are intact and so on. So, otherwise, if you don't want to confess, we can say, may I get human rebirth, but not completely precious, you know, because then we can continue to lie, yes. So, in this case, first we need to cover the ground level, yes. So where we practice, well, honesty, yes, but not blunt, you know. Otherwise, constantly you will end up in jail for all kinds of, I don't know, misdemeanor. So therefore, you don't want to waste time, you know. You want to be honest, but at the same time you don't want to waste energy, waste time. And so therefore first you have to find the right kind of environment. Yeah. But then once you are good there, you don't want to be stuck there also. Meaning that, you know, as they say, a bird has to at some point leave the nest, yes? Doesn't want to stay there forever, you know. So meaning, yes, among your friends they know who you are, but then strangers don't know who you are, sort of thing. So in this case then you must sort of again come out of that. Either you do it yourself or the friends will do it for you, so that then you are more and more open, you know. But in the beginning we don't do it all the way. Yeah. Yes. Clear? Okay. Then the last one, one next to the pillar. Well, both of you are next to the pillar. Yes. Yeah, you can ask together.
Yeah, so I make it short. I make it short,
okay.
And then she can also. Would you agree that it is, for the power of practice, most important to do it joyfully? Mm-hmm. Because I've got a practice I do in the forest when I'm running, and it's very short, and it's praying to Milarepa.
Okay.
And then I sing it, if nobody is coming.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. And I enjoy that the most, and I can do it for 1 hour or so. Is that then, would you say, the best one, the best practice for me?
As long as you like it, there's nothing like it.
Yeah. So, already finished. Thank you.
Yeah, I think mine is connected, also with joy, because you touched, talking about Vipassana and Shina, you touched something really important now in my practice, because I think like I don't know, I reached this point when I don't know what to do with this. It's like it's nice, it's stable. But you said something like that we are reaching this point when what to do with this? Just to experience the joy or break it down?
I didn't completely understand the question. Generally I did, yes.
Yeah, you talked about this gap.
Gap, yes. Okay, and then?
And then if to prolong it, because you also mentioned it, and I don't know, maybe I'm just prolonging the gap, and maybe it's a mistake.
No, it's not a mistake. There's nothing wrong with it, nothing can go wrong. But we have to kind of know that we cannot do it indefinitely, you know what I mean? Because it's inevitable that that there will be a change, or there will be a movement, and it's not because there's due to a bad reason or a good reason or any reason at all. Yes, it's just the way it is. Yeah. And so therefore now, in terms of how long we wish to prolong it, it's completely up to us, Recommended not to prolong too long, but one way or the other we will sort of feel that that's good enough, because we will feel that now there's nothing fresh anymore. Yeah. Just like how we feel right now, sort of thing, similar. So therefore, before we get bored, it's good to look forward for the next step. Yes. And like I said, it's not really prolonging, It's more about, as I said, I either corrected or described it further by saying it's more like zooming in, yes. Like the edge of a knife, from a certain distance it looks sharp, plain, flat, yes. But on a microscopic level, when you really zoom in, it's not flat at all, yes. Already there is constant wave, patterns of waves. So similarly, when we are doing the Shine already, we think it's now calm and serene and so on. It's not. The chaos is already there, way before the discovery of something plain and calm. Yes? It's just we have tuned our mind in such a way so that we are on a certain level, and so therefore we can see a pristine, calm sort of state. Yes. So it's well, I think the realistic way is that you remain in that state for until you feel comfortable, you feel relaxed, but then that courage should drive you, that motivation should drive you already. Like it's like when you dive into the ocean, those people, they have either a string or a watch or something that they say, okay, now it's time to come up or something, yes? Otherwise, you just keep going down. It's very peaceful, but that's it, you know. So similarly, it's like that motivation or compassion is just like that, where at some point, you know, enough, you know. And then it's that courage will naturally make you look forward for this. Yeah. We could call it chaos, we could call it order, whichever way we like, you know. And now, what kind of a wave it will be, it's completely an individual thing, you know. The next movement or change, escalation or de-escalation, whichever way we call it. It's completely up to us. Of course, a teacher would normally, if you have one, then would recommend what is most suitable for you, you know. In our case, for example, when we do the Chenresig right now, Chenresig is the one, yes. Or if you do Guru Yoga, or if you do mind training, all those are it. I mean, what is it? Yeah, mind training and so on. It's vipassana, of course. So, yeah, the point is it's already sort of present, but we just block out, you know, for practical sake. As a beginner, we need to make it a little bit more friendly, so therefore we block out, you know. And then, once we are used to it, then either we will feel stagnant or we will get lost a bit, and we don't want to be lost again, yes, because we've been there, done that. So, then it's the next step. And in terms of joy, as long as that motivation is there way before the practice of Shine, no problem. Yeah, and the joy will come. The joy itself will push you. Yeah. But if you just do it on its own, let's say, or go to a spa and focus on Shine, sure, you can have a wonderful Shine spa, you know. But then you'll be sort of lost there, and no joy, no inspiration. Yeah. Okay. So then, with that, then now we will do Chenresig. Chenresig meditation, and then I suppose from tonight, then most of you are departing, I suppose, because today is the last night, yes? Yeah. So then some of you might be going to Bodh Gaya, some of you might be going home, and so therefore for that I would like to wish all of you a good and safe journey, and wishing the very best for all of you, and may you continue to enjoy the practice. Enjoy it in such a way that it's not the trendy thing to do, you know, but more because you really, really like it. Yeah.
Ma ba me la Jeda zala zamba dendro bazo Sala jaya jela nganyebe Yemen dragon da boga yela So one zaga yela mana Yo parazena nam darajen yelo Shelo gom jen gamba zomba je Sena gala jaye me badam Tende da je bengom jela Nyengara je ba me ba jen yelo Moga gom jen gawa zomba ye Menga dergo je bela mala Yönde zavan de bengom jela Choy me moga je vara jen jela Ye me gon je ngo ye zomba ye Ka shara do beng o zamande Ma jen de gan jen bengom jela Gom jala nanda vara jen jela Nam dong ava jogo somba ye Che ya ma yen je ya javala Manga roi ven cha ven gom jela Koran de ye me da bara jen yelo Ye wa gonda yan da la ma da Da me je ye ba la lon je je Sa da lan ye yon de ra zo Do je jang ge ngo ba nyo no jo Zan ye jo da zo ye jo na la Chan ja ba da ne ja zhe je Da ge gom de ye be za na ye Do la ben je zan ye do ba jo San ye jo da za ye jo na la Chan ja ba da ne ja zhe je Da ge gom de ye be za na ye Do la ben je zan ye do ba jo San ye jo da za ye jo na la Chan ja ba da ne ja zhe je Da ge gom de ye be za na ye Do la ben je zan ye do ba jo Da zo Zanje na bo be go ra ra ye ge ru be ya chen do ye ye jen bo lo ge wa de ye nyo do da Chenresig wan ru nyo ne do wa je ya ma lo ba de ye za la go ba jo de da gom de ye be zo na ye da 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 la de da do wa go me da le de bo ma ye ma da de wa jen de de ye wa jo ye ma da 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 ja ra da ne tu be jo jo yen de je ba jo ye wa de yen ye wo go zo na ye ye zon zon de so na ye ye le jo ve tam ba go nye tam ba jo ma ma da na yen dong ba jan dong bien a le ye 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 lo mian da bien da nian da da bra zhang an de den a lo mian ge le bien dan den bien de de ran ba wo nie ye ye jen de de jen da ne ye me om da a wong ge ye lan de ren zo men yo sa ye la ma ye da la za da ba wa gan da zhe ye zo je da den ye nang gan de je de ba yo ye da gan da za ve la ma jo wan je gan da za ve la ma jo je ye gan da za ve la ma jo ye bra je ye bir je na za je bal de la ma ran je ya mo ne che jang ga dan je la jo ban ye ya la bo na ma do ze nga ge da do je le ba ze ga jen jang da ga na do je ya bo la zo be Karmapa yen den ba jo na la za me yang an de zen a jen yi Torma sa yen ben za me dan za ge ra da yon je jo ba ji do yang a dan za ve jo ba dan de go ne yang go za je be jo ye yen yon da yon den zo ban de ne zan je yen do be ngo zan ye do ba ma le ba ye do ba ye yon na de de zo wan da be do da zan ga lai jo da de ma ge ngo da den da de la zo wa da che bra de re ne me ban je ye ye la zam ze ge je zam ye la chum de Karmapa ye ye ba go da ge ma le nyu den de ba la Karmapa Thaye Dorje Darawa Shinda Lobaye no ba da da nye da zan da zon de da zon da de ben ge wan de man jiran zha wa zim je dam je gon zo be san je om ban don je ma wo wan za zan je na wan da ye da ye zan je wan da je je mon dam yondo semban da je da na la san je jan ze ba me go ye go de je wan za ba de me ba ye de wan je ye ja ve yin gan de da yin de ne zen bon ju man da ye wa yin je ba ra ma ja ba ro de ra je ne nan de ja da ja de gen da ge mo la da ban de cho ju za je ja zen dam je ge ge men do wa jin je lam do zo te da ben za de ya wa ba da na ye so wa jo de ya wa ze je go zo nye zo la je ye ra ta ge da zan ge za ba ge je za la jo ba bo ya wen den ba be jo je ge wa zim je go la ngo do ga san je da je ge za dam je je da gen je la men je je de mien da ne zon zon de se re ne me nyam don ben zen de za jo no jo je nam je zen bon jo man dan de wa jen de je yo je ye ne be ma ga jen de le den de la zan ye jo chang zhe dom nian jie zhen dun de ben zhe wan de mo ai zhu su nan de yin dam jie zhe ba nie ta nian nian ben zha nan ban jie ne jie ga na jie ba lan zhe ba ye se ben zo le zhe wan zhe wa zhu chan zhe sem ne ren bo jie ma jie ba nan jie ju jie ye ba nya